and usually requires hospitalization. So, after being in this somewhat position for 3 years, the conversations that we've had was, we understand distractions happen, but in this positions, certain distractions will is life and death, because if you're distracted from what her needs, it could send her in a situation life and death, having to go to the hospital. So this strong, that's what happened. And so now the after effect is how to deal with the experience, you know, of having a distraction to come up. Another analogy would be texting and driving. A lot of us familiar with, they have advertisement. There's laws. Don't text and drive, because texting and driving is being a distracted driver, and sometimes accidents happen. No matter how so-called good of a person you are, what you've done, this, that, or the other. But if you're, say, distracted while you're driving and a mishap happened, accident, the ripple effects, is to say the least, is not pleasant. It's not something that we desire or intend. We would say it's an accident. It's an accident. It wasn't intentional, but yet there was a distraction that played a part in it. So then now we say, okay, the big theme is distractions. So what's the opposite of being distracted? In a sense, it could be attracted. Back to that track, we spoke about track a while back. Track, attraction, distraction. So a distraction is being attracted to something, giving your attention to something, being attracted to something that's not um, urgent or important based upon what's happening right now. So your attention, what you're attracted to, is something other than what's going on right now. And if what's going on right now could be, if it's a serious enough nature, it could cause, certain things to happen. And so um, part of moving forward with this, again, the overall picture is, first there's a feeling that comes of so-called guilt, remorse, regret, feeling bad. Most of us are familiar with feeling bad. You do something, it's acting, you feel bad. How, and this is such a monumental feel bad experience. The question becomes how to be aware of the feeling, of the guilt, of accepting your actions and what your actions has done, while at the same time not allowing those feelings to put you in a situation where you're unable to move forward. Reason being, when experiences happen that are unpleasant, such as this, if we're able to open up to the deeper messages, to the deeper meaning, the deeper lessons involved, because it's easy to look at the surface as, because this happened, this happened, this happened, you was told this, you did this, you did, it's easy to call up into that. But when we take a step back and relax and says, okay, what is the universe saying? What is God saying? What does it say about the journey? What does it say about the overall picture of the journey? And the theory is the solution is there. And the solution is how to take this experience, right, because of some actions, get the message, the lesson from it, and act on the insight from the lessons, so that the actions moving forward produce the opposite results. And if we're talking about, say, a near-death experience, or something that's a setback energetically, how to learn from that so that the actions moving forward is a catalyst, so that the next experience will again be a catapult towards a more life enriching experience. And so that's where my person it is now. It's been over the past few days. It reflects and talks to God. And so to be relaxed enough, again, to be relaxed enough, the balance is to be relaxed enough where you accept the full responsibility and accountability. And so you go to God within and get the insights on, okay, this happened, how to take this and learn from it in such a way that, again, it benefits everyone. And at the same time, this way of moving forward also is the I admit philosophy, because in the process, one becomes an example of how to deal with situations that may be looked at as horrific. You know, how to take a horrific, so-called horrific situation and flip it, alchemize it. So again, we experience the other side of that. So is there this is general without going into the actual details. And the reason being because the details and insight are multidimensional. They're very deep. We've gotten the clarity. So we're in this situation now with every day we're mindful of how to act in the lesson that was learned from this experience. So again, distractions, being distracted can be the extreme side of that in a non-pleasant way is fatality. And so, how do we use again? We all have experiences that are unpleasant, some to different various degrees of extreme of unpleasantness. But the gist is how to use that story in such a way that others is able to benefit from it because of the actions that will take place afterwards. So whew, that's what we had. That's not person strong.
Man, man, where do we start? All right, distractions. Right, got distractions.
Yeah,
This track. You off of the track. All right,
off
this track.
track.
But this, this is funny because this, like for instance, disinterested. Right, to use that to just to give an example, disinterested means I don't care either way.
Mm,
Uninterested, or what is it, like I'm not taking sides. Disinterested means I'm not taking sides, like it doesn't matter one way or another. Uninterested is like I don't care at all. You see what I mean? So it's like it's I don't know, I'm just that popped up because the disc is also very powerful as far as your spinal cord and how things are created and so forth and so on. So it's all creation. It's just different levels of it. Because even if you're not creating, you're still creating something else. You know what I mean? You're not focused on that, but your focus is over here now, uninterested in that, or not realizing the connection that this has with that. So you know what I mean? So it's like a distract. Of course, that the optics of the whole thing in your track. So if it's off of that, then what's the focus? Or the focus seems to have changed from one thing to another.
I have a comment.
uh-huh.
Um, me having some insight to some of your journey, or what where your mindset is at this moment or at this point, from my perspective, my view, I see that perhaps, okay, because you enjoy taking the playful mood, the act of being free is a part of your reinstating the childlike state and energy, right,
Yeah.
of amazement, of what's available, like just being present with it, and so I think there may be, maybe the balance is what's coming into play, for you, because as an adult with this many years as a wise, you've come to the place where you're using your knowledge in wise ways. So I see this as something to ignite new tentacles kind of thing. You're now, because for whatever reason, there might have been some disconnection to something that you were meaning to be connected to stay connected to, but that actual wide openness, like you say, there's a focus that might be needed to be expanded in a way that, because these are all learning lessons. These are all times for us to assess, okay, well, what did I miss, like when I fell, or like for instance, I had a near death experience myself personally. It wasn't like anybody else was involved except for the spirit. And I had let me just be frank, I had an ectopic pregnancy, and it had
What's that?
Yeah, what? Wait,
an
what's
ectopic pregnancy is a pregnancy that's outside of the uterus, not the where it normally would lodge itself at the top of the uterus. It comes down a little bit further, and so um, my lungs had begun to fill up with blood. And so in my mind, not in my mind, but I heard a voice say, just lay down and you'll feel better. And then I thought about it. For whatever reason, another thought came to mind. No, I think I need to call the authorities or the and that actually saved my life, listening to that voice versus the other voice. I could have gone with the sleep, but I woken up. And
Yeah.
so, I could have gotten distracted first, that first notion, that first inkling. I couldn't see you guys at all, so I wasn't sure if you were hearing me. But yeah, the distraction was the first thought that came through, as in, take the easy way out. And then the second thought was, well, wait a minute. I took an assessment of what was happening with the body,
Right.
and the wisdom told me, oh, let's do something else. Let's call some help in for this. So in that case, I had to get serious with myself and not want to go play or lay down or be lazy or be sleepy or whatever. I had to catch myself and pull myself out of that mindset where that voice was saying, just lay down, be lazy, take it easy, do what feels comfortable. I had to get out of my comfort zone. If it meant enough to me for me to stay on this side of things, and then that was I had to make that decision. And
Yeah.
what really triggered that decision was when I heard my daughter's voice, because she was in the other room. And all of a sudden I was like, well, wait a minute, I got things to do.
Right.
I'm here for a reason. So, but no, what I'm just saying that there's a thin line sometimes between, the good and the bad, the right and the wrong, and that wisdom is what comes into play. So you're putting yourself, now you're saying, I'm gaining knowledge of, trial under fire, because it's real
so?
life,
What
it's
did you end
life
up
and
going to the
death.
hospital?
When
What did you end up doing?
Yeah.
Did you end up
I
laying down or
did,
going to
I
the hospital?
did. I went to the
Yeah,
hospital. I
Yeah.
called 911, and they said if they had not come to help me, I was this far from being gone. You know, I was that
No,
far.
they
My
say
my
that the
lungs had
spirit.
filled up with air. Yeah, I actually I had enough energy in myself and enough breath to make the decision to not
What
be
did they do?
distracted by
What did they do to
they
fix it?
actually, I had an operation, and they lanced, I'm missing an ovary. It had attached to my ovary. And so they removed that. They took a lot of blood. It was a lot of blood. Like I said, my lungs were filled up with blood. But I was near. It was near death. I was almost out of here, and I had to make some life and death decisions in that case. Whew.
Mm.
Yeah. But as a
Yeah.
caretaker, I've had emergencies come up before, where they were medical, and your demeanor during that whole time makes a lot of difference. I've had occasions where um, I myself, I hyperventilated because I got so excited, and I was my breath. My breath would not stay in a stable place. That was at least about 20 some years ago. But since then, I have found that when I'm calm in those cases and I'm breathing in my, you know, more like when I did hyperventilate, they gave me a bag and they're like, just breathe into the bag, so I'd blow the bag up and then I'd, breathe in and I'd blow the bag up. So, and that's just another one of those breathing exercises. And I'm sure Master Chef, you've had to, utilize that in that moment as well. Did you?
Uh,
Did you
Possibly,
recognize that you
yes.
were breathing calm, that you were
Yeah,
able to
that
calm things down by keeping yourself calm?
yes, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Right.
That's what
And
the bag is for.
Yeah, to slow you down. What
right.
about you, Tony? Have you ever, had a life or death or near death or
Oh yeah, all the time, all the time. I used to have them all the time. I used to ride motorcycles. So yeah, I've had several. I've had like 5 accidents. I've had oh shit, look at that. That's an osprey. I've had a lot of bike accidents. I've had different situations where I ain't even gonna lie. It was one situation I still think about that. I wonder if I
sorry?
am dead. You see what I'm saying? Because everything happened, the way that accident happened was so unbelievable. It was so unbelievable. I could be dead. You see what I'm saying? Like that's because I don't the thought process. I remember stuff after that happened, but
Right.
I wasn't there. I'm like, yo, what the fuck just
Yeah.
happened? Like, yo, it was, and the adrenaline is rushing so much that when I finally stopped, I was just, oh, what the, oh shit! Like I couldn't, it's like pull it back. And I'm screaming, and y'all like, yo, what all that? Just y'all know how I get. Y'all know how I get when I'm in person and shit.
Right.
That's like right there. It was like, oh my goodness, but not in a stressful type way. It was like hyperventilating, like,
Excitement. Yeah.
and because that's hyperventilating. That just means you're hyperactive. I've always been hyper. Everybody used to tell me I'm the kid, nigga, you always hyper. Like, calm down, you hyper. So hyperventilating, that's just hyper breathing. That's fire breath. And I'm like, oh shit. Wow, almost just ran into the back of that motherfucking truck.
Yeah.
Just to give you
That,
guys an idea, I was on my bike and I was traveling well over 100 miles an hour. And and the lady pulled over in front of me and stopped and slammed on brakes because I guess she was
woo.
scared. She didn't know. Now looking back at it, I was very upset with her, but looking back at it and then I was able to find myself in a situation where it was flipped, where I was in the car and there was a bike that came out of nowhere from behind me. And I understand now that panic that happens when people hear that sound and they don't know where it's coming from, that deer in the headlights type situation. And she pulled over, I guess, to get out of the way. But because you can switch lanes so fast with a bike, I'm switching lanes at the same time he's pulling over to kind of get out of my way, I guess. And so when she did that, she's literally right in front of my path. So I had to slam on brakes, and my front tire. You guys ever heard of a stoppie before? A stoppie is when your back tire comes up off the ground, and you're
Right.
literally balanced on the front tire. So
Mm.
I'm traveling fast. This was I don't do bike tricks. I didn't do bike tricks and stuff at the time. So it was like that was my first time ever doing that. And I, it's a level of balance that you get to when you're traveling that fast and you have to stop. There's a level of balance that you have to have and maintain, that when you get on that front tire, it's a point that says this far and no further.
Right.
Because if not, you flipping and you rolling and just going crazy. But it got to the point, and I literally remember looking in this bitch's back window, and then all of a sudden the bike came back down, and I'm poop, and I'm like, oh, and everything was slowed down, and she's still like right in front of me, and I'm sitting, I'm like, oh fuck, and I spin and pull around her and curse her out like in my helmet, like, and then I was like, what am I doing? I'm yelling at myself, and then I just kept going.
So you didn't
So
get hurt in that? Okay, okay.
no,
But
not at all.
then,
That's what I'm saying. I don't. That was so weird. The whole thing to be going over 100 miles an hour and then to slam on brakes like that, be on the front tire. Like I remember all of this shit. Like it was like everything slowed down, and I'm sitting. I'm like, yo, I'm sitting looking around. I'm like, holy fuck, this is some Matrix shit. Like you can see
Yeah.
everything, and that's happened several times. You see,
well,
like in an accident,
I
huh?
was saying that hyperventilation breath, that's that gateway breath that we use to get to gateway. So I could
Yeah,
imagine that, like you just said, that's like while you're in the matrix, you're actually seeing things slow down, and you can actually, you have if you have control of yourself like you did, because apparently, you came out unscathed. But I actually rolled up the back of on a motorcycle, rolled up the back of a car over and
mm-hmm.
did and on the back, which bent the handlebars. So it was
Yeah.
a little crooked after that, but I walked away unscathed. And I had another occasion I want to explain about as well. But you go ahead, because yes, that's Matrix moments right there.
Yeah, yeah. These was just it's like I said, just what Master Chef is talking about. It's a level of balance, and when you get there, all of the rushing, all of the everything is it all starts and stops at the same point. You see what I mean? It's right there. It's that rush. It's that same
Mm.
energy that's there. Then you keep that same energy. It's like oh, and then it's a relaxation type deal. Area.
A
Yeah.
peak, and then yeah, and then you come down
Would,
off of it. Oh, just want
would
to say
like to
hi to,
share.
hi to all my heart happy hour family. I apologize, I did not introduce. We are on Soulful Sunday today with Master Chef. Thank you for me
And Tony
allowing
Bowmaster.
me to take a minute. And
Yeah, I say you, baby.
Bowmaster Tony
The
Bowmaster.
Indigenous Culture University, baby. It's classes in session.
I am it.
Man.
University, science of self. So I think that at those times we are able to tap into our Akashic intelligence. Like all of the help that we could tap into is available to us in those moments at those times. And if we are tapping into it, slowing down our breath in some cases, or speeding up our breath, like you said, to get to a hyperventilated place where you're aerating to that light, fluffy, it depends. Like you said, balance and control. If it happens on a regular basis, you begin to learn how to balance it. Like often enough, I've had occasions where I get vertigo, and vertigo again is about balance. So that's that right and that left equilibrium kind of thing, that where I've actually had to breathe through that to slow my breath down, to make sure that I'm properly aerated. Breath has a lot to do with, that's the first thing that happens when you come through the vortex. They I don't know if in natural birth they smack you, but the first thing they're looking for is for you to take your first breath. And so I believe that breath has a lot to do with it. Our breathing,
Yeah. Well, let first.
slow or fast, takes us to the place where we're able to create and utilize our balance, our wisdom, our knowledge.
Well, let's put that together real quick because
Huh?
that's
Say it
kind of
again.
obvious. That ventilation is breathing. You see what I'm saying? Ventilation is breathing.
Hmm.
Simple as that. You
Hyper.
open the vent. It's stuffy in here. Open the vent. Clear. Blow them boogers out of your nose. Get your shit out. That's breathing. You see what I'm saying? If something's clogged up, then it's clogged up. That's how it is. You got to get it out. Get it out. So that's breathing. And then that's your
Get the
ventilator, right?
toxins
You got
out. Yeah.
right. What was the other word you used? You used another special scientific word. Um Ventilation, breathing. What were all these other
Aeration,
words? Yeah, aeration. Yeah.
oxidation,
Oxidation. Right. Oxidation.
and
All of those
ventilation. Yeah,
got
because
ventilation. All those have eon
at
at the
those
end of it.
times,
Eon, electric large charge particle. They all got eons after it.
ion, yeah, the ionic. Hmm.
So yeah. No, yeah, it's serious.
So, so it stands to reason that the breath, that's the connection to this plane. Without our constant, like we don't even think about it. We can take control. We have taken control. There is a autonomic mechanism that's in place, but the hyperventilation could also be when we get a certain excitement, the adrenaline or the other hormones that come about when we are excited or traumatized or whatever. Those, the hyperventilation to me is letting out that chemical that would, how when cattle are going to slaughter and they get whatever the that bad energy that goes through them. So I believe this aeration is a part of a way for us to disseminate or balance back out that particular, the prevalency of that bad energy that has come up to paralyze you or to come up to, the place of frightening you or traumatizing you. When you breathe through it, it allows your brain to get the proper oxidation. It allows your body to balance back out that energy that you have taken in or induced in yourself in those crises moments.
Hmm.
That's funny. So it sounds like all of these. So you basically all that you said was oxidate yourself to induce all of these creations and so forth. So oxidate, breathe in to create all of these things that are happening inside of you.
To assist the balancing of those things. Because if it's an elevated, like when you have a spike, like if you have an elevated heart rate, the way to calm it down is by that slow, steady inhale, exhale, and consciously contacting your heart and saying, hey, I want to calm down, having a conversation with the members of yourself, the members of your committee, the whole self in parts. You want to call out the parts that you're asking to assist you in the process of whatever the moment is that you're calling the attention for. So yeah, the breath and your intention, pulling that all of those balancing pieces in place for you to use your wisdom and apply your knowledge.
Yeah. I want to circle back briefly um, to Professor Malone was sharing about her near-death experience and being able to choose differently, choose a different choice, which makes the difference. One of the things that came up during this processing period for my person about the situation that's strong um, was red light, green light. That was a
Mm,
discussion we had, um, and that looking at the signs, red light, green light, or red flags, green flags. And
mm-hmm,
this came up several times in the context of walking in your purpose, or some would say staying in your lane.
mm-hmm,
As mentioned before about the situation, there are two sides. My person was on both sides with the responsibility. One side was the caregiver, the day to day, got to have these things. The other side was the support side. Once these things are gotten, how can we now work with you to enhance, better, improve your situation once the foundation is taken care of from the caregiver side. And so the red light, green light came up because during the times, the years of participating as a caregiver, there were red flags as far as this may not be your lane. Some of those major red flags was uh, one is after a certain number of years, and you're still being reminded of the things that you intellectually know. So it's not like my person was not aware. We know, and was beginning to do everything we could to say how can we be better, but yet there seems to be no improvement. So it's a red flag. Taken from this perspective, at this point, my person has over the years understands if there are challenges, and no matter what you're doing, there seem to be obstacles and there seems to be setbacks, no matter how much energy you give to it, it may not be something that you should be engaged in. So that was a red flag. Now, what's the reason my person did not honor the red flag and say, let's look at what you're doing here? What also came to this was the toxic masculine energy. Sometimes the energy of the masculine is like, we can do this, want to prove a point. We can do this, don't back down from a challenge. Oh, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. Some people call it being egotistical, arrogant, you know. So in my person's arrogance to want to do a good job, say we don't let this because it's on the surface it seems simple enough to want to do that good job, but yet missing the signs that no matter how much energy you give, going beyond, up night, looking at how can we do better, and it's not working, is considered a red flag in the context of on the support side. Heart touch therapy was one of the major supports engagements. So with heart touch therapy, looking back today, like right now, my person is able to see um, engage precious mother love once again. So my person, at some point, there was more attention given to the caregiver side, a whole lot more than the support side. But yet, looking back today, my person can see the benefits on the support side. We can see how being on the support side, there's the effects today. It's like, oh, we can still see the effects on the support side. On the caregiver side, again, we aren't really able to see any major benefit that has taken place, except for she enjoys the food when it's cooked, prepared. But at the same time, sometimes it gets too monotonous. Then we have to say, oh, we got to change up the food. But besides the food, where's the other progress? Again, the same, be mindful, don't be distracted, because, being reminded about the same little thing. So again, the red flags was there. And because of my person's willingness, desire to not to back down from a challenge, this toxic masculine ego, we can do this, kept my person wanting to push, 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 and go for it and do it. And most of us realize, when a lot of times when major setbacks of these happen, the universe, God is maybe saying, you sh- we've been giving you signs. You're unable to say, no, this not working, can't do this. So we have to create a scenario to get you to see. And unfortunately, sometimes the scenario to get you to see is a major setback because you wasn't able to see and make the choice on your own. It says, hey, let's look at how we approach the situation. How can my person's lane, how can its passion be in service as opposed to looking to fit itself into something else because of whatever pride, looking to prove something that the ego want to do. So again, looking at it from that situation, ignoring the red flags, and looking God, we can do this, we can do this. Universe said, okay, you can keep on, but you're not supposed to be doing it. And this is what happens. So now adding this to the lesson learned, moving forward with part of the not being distracted is being observant to the flags. And the flags come up in all of our experiences. So by again, a person who spoke about the wisdom, my person failed to engage in the wisdom that it knows about being on your right path. So again, my person dropped the ball at that level, and because he dropped the ball at that level, again, at the level that my person plays at, again, we say we got an exit date. That's a high responsibility. And so this experience saying, slow down, breathe more, look at what you're doing. Is it in alignment? Is there any improvement? Because ideally there should be some improvement. If it's not, then really ask why and go that deep. My person didn't do that. It was just like, no, we can do this, we can do this. So, it's just sharing again how the ego, you know, allow my person to be distracted and not catch the signs. That was like, maybe you should rethink what you're actually doing before an accident happened, because that was part of the conversation. Oh, literally, you've been here doing this long enough to know what you should do. And if you keep saying you get distracted could be life and death. So that's the conversation. And so we say, you're right, it could be. So we got to do better, as opposed to, ooh, no matter what we're doing, it seems let's do an oracle reading. Let's go to the oracle. Let's do readings. That's when a person thinks it will consult the oracle, get spiritual insight. It chose not to get the insight because it says, oh, it's a challenge, we can get this. And we saw how it could help out. But sometimes if you see how you can help out and it's not really your lane or you're not equipped to help out that way, you can do more harm than good in your willingness to help out. So again, these are the bigger,
So look,
messages that has been coming.
man, yo, when I tell you, you sparking a whole bunch of shit. so, so when you said, all right, so when you was talking all that, I'm in this thought process of the game. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So when you said I dropped the ball, I didn't drop the ball, I dribbled the ball. You see what I'm saying? I dribbled the ball. I dropped it on purpose. Put it down there because I'm playing, because I'm setting your ass, because I'm about to cross your ass up, Allen Iverson style.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a hezzy. It's that hezzy. You see what I'm saying? You come in, I'm like, yeah, because you on the team. Now, for you to come over and try to take the ball from me, that wouldn't be working towards the goal. You see what I'm saying? Because
right,
our goal is to score. So I'm
right.
going to the basket. I'm back here. We have trained on dribbling drills. We have trained on how to move with the ball, so forth and so on. So now we setting up the pick and roll. You see what I'm saying? You come over, you set the pick for me. I'ma go around. That frees me up for a second to look at a new play and be, oh snap, I see the tunnel, I see the light right there, because as soon as you pick and I go past you, you roll.
Hmm.
You see, towards the basket. And then I can, depending on the situation, I can then make a decision to lob it to you over the top or to give you a bounce pass through the middle. Either way, my timing has to be right so that I can put it right through there or right up there so that you're running and you're in stride to catch it and lay it up, or to catch, stop and shoot. Do whatever you want, because now you're free from both people. Because now you've switched things. You've changed. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I got to get on another mindset. Whoa, whoa! That pick. Oh, that pick! He hit me. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh, get him! Get him! Get him! Oh, he didn't get him. Oh, but now in that whole confusion, we orchestrating shit, baby. We making it roll. You see it?
Uh-huh.
So what about your team? Were you doing this by yourself, Aship? Were there other persons on the team that were there to assist and dribble the ball to and pass and be a part of the response and call?
Not on that day during that time. Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that brought to mind from what Tony was saying, because he's like, putting we're never alone. We are one. And I do know on the regular, in my interpretation, from what I've seen, that there's usually a couple of people
Right.
available within the household that
Now
we're
look at it from a bigger perspective now. All right, now we got a basketball court, and at any time there's 10 players on the court, all 10 toes down, right? Their team and my team. And
Right.
then there's some players on the bench. Not everybody's in there all at one time. But everybody's goal is to score on each basket. But everybody's job is not to dribble all at one time. Everybody's job is not to shoot at one time. Everybody's job is not to, you see what I'm saying? Everybody, your job is to run the floor. Maybe your job is to get rebounds. After I shoot and I miss, you get the rebound so that the ball's still in play. Be like, all right, let's reset, let's put it back together, swing it back around, swing it, like see what type of defense they got going on. Sit, look at oh, they in a 3-2, or 2-3. Okay, well, we need to do, there's a way around that. They in the man-to-man. Okay, well, we need to run. It's a whole lot of different ways to handle the situation that is presented. So it's a beautiful analogy. So with the people that may not have been right there at the time, he was probably in an isolation play. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's where everybody goes to this side of the court, and then LeBron does his thing, or Michael Jordan does his thing. And you clear out so he can make it happen. Boom. But we here to support. If it meant we going to come in for the rebound. Now it's our job to shift around what you're doing, who you are being. And in doing that, I am fulfilling my purpose in the game because I'm the rebounder now.
So with that analogy, my person going to use the shot clock, and the analogy how it went down. So sometimes the situation may happen where her neck muscles may give out. Her neck muscles give out. She's unable to hold her head up, swallow, drink, do anything like that. The neck muscles talk, what have you. And a lot of times when that happens, um, it may be briefly, she may come back, or it may be in a situation where she's napping, she's just gone, for a few hours, you know. And so that's what the situation was. In the early part of the AM, things was flowing right along, happy, love, everything was right there. Then when the muscles went out, she was napping for quite a while. And so when she came back to, um, the shot clock, right? So we saying, oh, she has to have this, food, supplements, she has to have these things to keep her up because she's been, you know, out. Primary on that list is water because dehydration could trigger seizures. Although she had water before she went down, because she was out for so long, when she came back to, it should have been the water. But it was other things that my person thought was a priority. Do this, do this, do this, do this. And then we did get around to the water, do this. But by that time, the shot clock had expired. So even though she got the water then, and later on, she got the water because there was that
Time.
window had expired.
Mhm.
She wasn't able to get enough water on the back end to rehydrate, which began the trigger process, the seizure process. So again, because of, yeah, it's on us, get over there, we got this running point, the confidence, lost track of the priority, shoot it up, lay up, we want to run a play, we want to do this, want to do that, because we thinking, oh, we can see how we're going to do this, but we wasn't aware of the time. There's a time thing going on. Certain things takes more priority. Yeah, you've been practicing this thing all strong, all month long. You got this down, but you may not have time to do all that fancy stuff that you've been that you can do. You just got to go. Oh, let's do this right now because of the time situation. So using the clock shop, giving an example of the intent to say, okay, let's do this was there, but the priority on the order of it based upon the time was not there.
So that, okay, that's it.
So
That goes even deeper
was attracted to this, but should have been attracted to that.
to this, right? When you, right? Well, okay, look, when we coming down, we dribbled up, right? You inbound the ball on this side of the court, and we got to go full court to the other side. That takes about what, 8 seconds, right? Now we passing around, da da da. Yes, you don't have time. There's all of these factors that come into play with what's happening? We only got 24 seconds. Like you said, I don't have time to sit there and do every drill that I've ever learned. You see, it's like,
Right.
but we got to push to do.
Right.
We could do that fast, and you see what I'm saying? What we got to do, like, look, go set the pick real fast. I'm gonna come around, boom, pick and roll, blah, 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 blah. All right, shoot, it wasn't there. All right, reset, come back around, blah, 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 do it again, real fast. Blah, blah, blah. That's why we drill slow so that in crunch time we can make it happen fast. You see, this is practice.
It's
Right.
also pressure. It's a different type of pressure that comes
Different.
about.
Oh, thank much different. Yes.
Yeah, and in that real time when you in the when the bullets is coming, you're in real time, that pressure. So how to maintain calm enough to stay open enough to say this is what to do versus just doing some shit. Oh, panicking, panicking, panicking. Oh, let's do
It-
this. Oh, I'm gonna do this. Gotta do. You panic. You do some just doing some shit. Which is good, but it may not be the best. Best. So
yeah. You remember what was that? I'm gonna get you, sucker. But
they
just
shoot
that
in.
when
They shoot.
yeah, they shoot, they shoot. He's like, man, I thought you was in the art. He's like, yeah, but I've been closer. I ain't never been in it. He said, I've been trained for war, but I ain't never. Uh,
Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
pressure under fire, or the stress, the pressure under stress in those moments. Remember, I said the time slows down at
yeah,
some point, but at that same point, like you said, the start and the finish is this. It's at the same point. It's like you got to go in so quick into the right play. You call up the right play at the time. I can't imagine. You know, being in that position. It's definitely difficult to pull out the right index card at the right moment, because you made so many notes on what to do when these things happen. It's like, okay, this is the real thing. This is not a drill. This is real life.
but see, that's
You
the
know,
difference when you're actually playing. So if we're actually playing basketball and we keep doing the drills and stuff, it's an understanding on a different level. You're comfortable with it. You see what I'm saying? If you're not comfortable with a pick and roll, I can go pick up any guy off the street and be like, "Yo, let's play, let's play," or all 10 of us, we gonna all play full court. And if everybody knows how to play, it doesn't matter where we all came from. We'll make it work. Oh, Master Shep is disconnected, but
I,
yeah,
I liken it to not military. Well, yeah, military too, but martial arts,
yeah,
because when I took martial arts as a youth and then as an adult, and hadn't done it for a long while, but there was someone who liked to walk up behind me, and it would startle me sometimes. They would be like, they would call my name, and I'd be like, like, hey, stop doing that, don't do that, because, and I warned them 3 times. I says, hey, um I've been trained, my natural instincts are going to come out if you keep doing it. I'm trying to keep you, safe. Don't do that. And so the last time that they did it, said my name. I was in a crouched down, stooped down position. I was actually in the refrigerator going to get something off the bottom shelf where I kept my stuff. I went and got my stuff, and as I came in there, as I was crouched down, heard my name. I didn't see anybody. I looked over, I didn't see anybody, and as I came up, he appeared. My foot ended up at his neck. I came out of a crouched position. My natural instinct kicked in. My learned behavior, the programming that I had put in was activated. I was in that, you know, preservation of self mode, and so it's not something that I had, so it's one of those things, that learned behavior, that muscle memory, but it's also because I talk about the Akashic intelligence. I believe I had some help. I wasn't there by myself. Again, there were, my recall. I don't believe it was just me, because I'm like, I've never practiced that move. That was never in the playbook for real. it
It
it,
was
it
always in the
came
playbook.
from, not that
That's
I had practiced though, so it could have, yes, it was a potential,
when you
but
talking
it
about
wasn't
your
one of the
Akashic.
potentials. It
Okay.
just, say that again.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Say what you say.
No, go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off. I thought you.
No, I was just saying that is
Yeah, when you talk about your
okay.
Akashic
Good. There we
records,
go.
when you talk about your Akashic records, that is the playbook. That's like the ultimate playbook. Everything is in there. All
Ooh,
different combinations,
slam
all different
dunk.
stuff. That's all
Yeah.
in there. It's just in there.
Yeah.
So it is the playbook. So of course, when something pops up, yeah, just because you're not consciously aware of it on a microcosmic level doesn't mean that the macrocosm ain't aware
Yeah.
of it. And then you tapped in. He was like, you called something out. Clearly, you called something out. So yeah, it is also you.
Somebody called the play.
You
Somebody
called the
called the
play.
play.
You called the play when you told that nigga not to mess with you because you've been trained. So when you told him you've been trained, you opened up a whole nother section of your Akashic the records where your training is, and then that's where your stuff came from. You didn't even know you was trained. You knew you was trained, but you ain't know you knew you was trained. You see?
I didn't know that I knew that I know that I knew that I know, but I didn't know that I knew.
Yeah, you was talking
Woo.
shit, and then that fertilizer actually grew some shit. You see what I'm saying? So it
Well,
is.
that takes me back to the, one of the lyrics that I said, George Clinton. No one knows what the nose knows till the nose knows. So, and that's I think that is so profound because there's so much that you don't know that you don't know.
Yeah.
You know. So when you know that you know, that's when you know. But you don't know that you don't know until you know.
But ask what you don't know. What do you want to know? Is there anything you want to know? What
There
would
you
you like
go.
to know? Think of
Seek
something you
and
don't
you
Yeah.
know
shall
and ask that
find.
question.
Not
And then all the you don't knows will come in to be your knowing. And then you be like, oh, now all this stuff is coming in. That's what your downloads and stuff are. You don't know what you're looking at. Yeah, because you don't know
Akashic
about it. But it's there.
intelligence.
All the knowledge and wisdom
Ah.
is there. Find something you don't know about, ask about it, and then the shit'll start coming in. You start seeing stars and shit.
Tap in.
You breathe, do your meditations. But
Sign
you don't know the
symptom.
blueprint. If I showed you a blueprint of an architectural building with the layers and all that stuff, it's like we look at it like, what is this? What's going on? Bruh, don't you realize you can create anything from this? Just
So
think
one of
about
the
it.
Potential.
yeah. So one of the things my person has implemented was the using the word "no" differently because it's Tony mentioned the Akashic records. To to know is within us. So my person just shifts and says being aware. It knows it, but it may not be aware because it hasn't come to the surface, to this dimension, to the conscious mind. But it's in the subconscious mind, it's in the Akashic records. Everything is within it. I admit, so everything is here that ever has been, will be, and is. Everything that is, has been, and will be, there's access to that to know. Any timeline, any dimension. So when we say we don't know, personally, that's a limit on ourselves that may slow down the awareness of what we do know that we say we don't know. Whereas we says, oh, we know, we're just not aware. What is it? So then the question becomes, what does it take to become aware of what we know at any given time, any given moment? It's only say if we feel as though we're not aware. We're not aware. So what we have to do, the breathing, the meditation, go into trance, whatever we got to do, become aware of what we don't know. And that in another set, my person finds is an art and is a skill of being in gateway, get back to being in gateway, because in that gateway you're right there, so you have access to all there is, all there was, and all that shall be. So cultivating a life of
Akashic
being in
intelligence.
gateway, you will cultivate a life of you may not be aware of everything because the conscious mind is limited. But in that gateway space, if something comes up that's not familiar, just relax because you know and allow it to come forth so you're able to know what you think you don't know, but you do know.
What did you remember the Matrix when they said Neo's about we're gonna do some training, some martial arts training. And he went and sat
Yeah,
in that chair and they hooked that shit
yeah,
up to the back of his head and then he was
yes.
like meditating and shit. And then he was like,
Yes.
I know kung fu. And he was like, show me. And then they went into
You're
the
right.
joint, and then he's like, you're faster than that. You're faster than that. You know all the moves, self. You see what I'm saying? You're
Uh-huh.
doubting
Oh
yourself.
my
It's that
God. Oh
fear.
my God.
There's no
Yes.
way you are as great as I'm telling you you are. No fucking way. No! Whoa! Not you being the greatest motherfucker of all time. Of all
Yes, you are.
time.
Yes, you
You see what I'm
are.
saying?
Yes, you
Not
are.
being
You
that great,
sure?
not you controlling and creating and moving and all of this stuff, and you God. No. No, it's too magnificent. It's too wonderful. It's too grand. It's too much responsibility, too much accountability. Too much. That means I'm responsible for all of this shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's why some say ignorance is bliss. Don't want to know because then you're
Oh,
responsible and accountable. No, that's too much.
no, don't get me. Oh, it's too much bigness. It's too much bigness. Too much wonderment. Yeah, it's a lot going on in there. It's a lot happening. That what these voices and things that I don't understand and these things that I do understand, that's the shit that's talking to me, and this shit's talking to me. Everything is talking to me. But
Yes.
no, I can't make. Oh, that's too much, my nigga. That's too. Oh, that's not.
Right.
But is it? But is it? Because you've been doing it.
Right.
You've been doing it.
Uh-huh.
So now you're
And
aware of it. Keep that same energy. You know
so that way that you know that they're all talking at the same time. So then you just simply tune into the channel, the programming,
Woo.
at that desired
Yeah.
moment. Because like any channel, any cable, if you just tune into a particular time, like it's always there. The channel is always running. The God's cable is always running. Different shows, different programs, different spirit guides are always there watching and talking and engaging. So being able to just say, okay, I had to tune into this channel right now to get this insight, this it's
The
right there.
voices, many waters.
The voices of many
I want to
waters.
share.
Water.
I want to share a matrix moment. Yes, I want to get some water too. Uh, a matrix moment. I've shared this before, but I'd like to reiterate this experience that I had because you reminded me when you said something about when he did the martial arts and when he tuned in, when they tuned in to the back of his head or whatever. So I've had some matrix moments, about 10 of them, where I actually received a call from an agent. And when I received the call, the actual phone, meaning I picked up the receiver. And as soon as I picked up the receiver, I remember saying hello, but then right after that, it was like, zzz, I was gone. The husk of me, the body, the vessel was there, but I had separated as far as my consciousness and went to, I want to say it was like a council kind of thing and some other stuff that was going on. Like each time it was something different, but I'm starting to remember more and more of it as I start to tune back into it. But I had at some point had no memory of it. But what would happen, and the thing is that these things was happening to me before the movie The Matrix came out, right?
Mhm.
And so I only recognized it once I saw the movie, that this is what's happening, you know, like when I saw the being walk by me and his veil dropped. I didn't know what that was until I saw a show called Supernatural, um, and the Grim. But the Matrix moments that I was having, are similar to, I'm certain, when we do these gateway moments, these Matrix moments that we go into when these life or death things are about to happen. When we're in that headspace of being separate from the self, sort of outside the self, seeing the self, sort of thing. When they separate at the point of life or death, where you can actually choose what to do at that point. Which, in my case, I'm only saying that because it's what happened in my case. But when I actually would pick up the phone on these occasions and I would be gone, I didn't have a choice. It's like I had to be, it's like when I picked up the phone, it actually activated something in me, like a tone or frequency or something that happened, and I was gone. And so I only speak of that because, in terms of using that word, that's what I've used that word to describe in the past. And now with me talking about more about the Akashic intelligence, the matrix, in all the ways that we talk about it, you know, that is one of the biggest, deepest times that I can say that I've experienced the separation of self, where you're actually separate and there's no concept of time. There's no, you're not attached to this plane at all, this frequency, this 3D, we're in the all. And it was a selected place, like a dialed in IP to, you know, I believe that's why they use the telephone to use the that device. But man, let me shake off some of that. But yeah, no, I was definitely feeling like, as I relate back to that is, I've experienced some gateway moments before I knew what the gateway moments were, and I'm now going to have to transition that I can use either word gateway or in the matrix,
So look, the gateway,
because
the gateway
the,
is the IP address that gets you out. You see what I'm saying? So when you're having these experiences and so forth, you have an inner IP, right, which is an internet protocol. Like I said, you're tapping in directly, and then there's all kinds of different places or different IP addresses that you can go to, and the gateway allows you out access to the internet. So this is the number to the door that you can get to the whole thing. You see what I'm saying? So the whole is all a part of
Hmm.
it, and there's different things you can block off and section off and so forth. So that's space. What you're just because you thrown a lot of IP addresses and all that. So you throw, but it was. I was just kind of
like a chef says, if you have, they're all available. All those channels are there. It's just which one are you dialing into?
right,
Which one are
Right.
you allowing access
Hmm.
to? Which one are you activating to engage?
and that's and
And which one is being activated?
so
Because
that's
it can
also
be activated for you too.
right. That's also a part of like IT or information technology. Like it's sitting there and it's the you're activating a name. So when you put google.com behind that is a number, which is your name. That's the name in the dynamic name server. And it has it correlates to an IP address or translates to an IP address or a number that sends you to Google. You see what I'm saying? So the words switch to a number, and that number, that IP address, takes you to the site.
Hmm.
So it's tight how she's explaining all of that. Like it's
Yeah.
just typing in a regular.
Well, I decided to interchange those two words now as we spoke, as I was speaking it just now. But the reason why has to do with I was just listening to Dr. Be Serious on Black Magic 363 last night. There was a whole group of them, a whole panel of them. But the piece that I was able to catch, because I haven't caught the whole thing yet, but he talked about that he has gone and he has experienced the Matrix 3 times, or he came close to being in the Matrix, or like he was actually talking about him leaving this plane, leaving, like and I want to, just for a moment, take a moment to say, our mystery school teacher, Mama D, Dorita Dixon, she's gone on to be an ancestor. And most recently I heard, and I haven't confirmed it, but my ex-husband, apparently, also one of my mentors, is now an ancestor. And so, hey guys, I think I spoke about Mama Dorita last week, Mama D, but to
Right.
say that he was likening his experience, his near death experiences, to matrix moments. And that's what we just did as well. But that's what's making me think that let me, make the decision that I need to overlap when I say that I'm in the matrix, or I'm going to the gateway, or I'm in the gateway, that those, if I overlap those experiences in my mind. I may have card cataloged them into different categories where they need to be merged into the same concept so that perhaps I can get more, glean more in the way of what that experience actually is, because apparently, like when I was 5 years old and I went into another dimension, and I mentioned about how, my scientific 5-year-old mind said, prove it. And I proved it to myself, by taking something with me and leaving it there and then coming back. And then, again, my physical was one place separate from my I want to say that I may have misspoke just now. No, my physical went with me when I went to those other dimensions. My physical went with me when I was 5 years old. My physical went with me. So I've had the experience of leaving the physical here, which is also like when I've dreamt. Are you hearing me? Is it a bad signal?
No, I can hear you.
Okay, that's Master Shep having
No, you're
issues.
good.
Okay.
You're good.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, apologies.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, so I'm saying I have to broaden that category for myself so that I can merge the experiences into what the fullness of the matrix and the gateway moments are, because I think the gateway meditation is like just the tip of the iceberg. I'm giving you the method. I'm giving you the technique, and it's up to you to apply it for yourself to get yourself to that place. So
Well, the
um,
whole thing is recognizing that you're there. So, right, we're sitting here talking about looking for it and applying and all that stuff. You're in it now. It's happening now, right now.
yeah,
You're in it. That gateway meditation you did a few
Uh-huh.
months ago,
Uh-huh.
ain't that
Yes.
when I
ain't that stuff?
reconnected,
Uh-huh.
That's all right
when I
there.
reconnected with those moments, yeah, it does feel
You were never
like
disconnected. You were never
I'm a,
disconnected. It's always, even if you're disconnected, so-called disconnected, you're still connected. You're just not aware, but it's still happening. Like you said, it's
Yeah.
gonna do it. It's gonna make it happen regardless of what it is, whether you're input or not. It just is what it is. So you can get on board or not. Get on board, little children. Get on board. There's room for plenty, many on board. Get on board.
electricity. We're
That's right.
electric. It's electric. Do, do,
Right.
do, do, do,
Yes.
do, do, do.
No, it's electric.
We are electric.
And what does that mean? That's a
Boogie,
whole thing
woogie,
to think of.
woogie.
What is electric?
Well, I have a book here by
As
Thoughts by
opposed to
Art
Mac.
Law.
Huh?
As opposed to magnetic, electromagnetic. That's what the Ankh is. The Ankh is electromagnetic. It
So
has the properties
why are
of
they
both.
separate? Why do they have to be separate? Why they can be the same thing? I don't have to separate it into like opposites or a versus thing, even though it could be a versus, but they somehow work together to create an effect. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, okay, electric. It could be electromagnetic, that push and pull, right? Push and pull together, that energy that encompasses the whole, it's the whole thing. Three different layers, or whatever, however many, whatever, all this stuff. Infinite vibration. And you can direct it, channel it.
Yeah.
Everything is in
One of the
motion
reasons why
and,
they
and has frequency. Go ahead.
yeah.
One of the
I was gonna say
reasons.
one of the reasons why they're separate is for identification, classification. Is to say, okay, identification. Say, yes, it's one energy, but yet in this situation, the energy is performing like this. It is manifested this way. We may say, in this instance, say in the summertime, we say this one energy is manifesting as electric or hot or fire. When in the winter, we may say this one energy is being manifested as cold or passive. So it's a way of just simply describing how the energy is manifesting at this moment, this one energy. So it's not separate, but you're just identifying how it's behaving now.
So that's like that's spatial fire, right? So spatial fire is white fire, which is electricity, right? Crooked man walking, that's you. You see, so your
Uh-huh.
nervous system, right? So you got your nervous system, Lucifer. You see what I mean? Like the white stuff, all the colors, your chromatophores, like what we like in the octopus joint earlier. It's like the chromatophores and how that the different when you look at an octopus change colors, you can actually see it's almost like some type of electricity
The particles
just going through them. And it's like,
activating.
yeah, it's like a thorough activation, and it's just a
Flipping
love
the
of
switch
whatever
on
it
each
sees.
cell.
And it becomes that by beholding, you become changed.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like being aware of these things and being aware that, oh shit, you just may possibly be able to do this. But yeah, you can do this. Don't put any limits on yourself. You can do this. You are all of that. You
You can
see,
do
you're
all things. You can do
right.
all
You all
things.
things. You can do all things through
That's
Christ
right.
who strengthens you.
Who
Right? Through
strengthens you?
And
Christ.
who is Christ?
I have something I want
Right. Who is Christ? Where did that nigga come
to.
from? You
Woo,
see?
the
Where did
Christos.
that nigga
The
come from?
Christos.
Right. Christ nigga.
The Christos.
Naga, nigga.
Yes, your monthly Christmas.
Naga the niggas
So
the
I have
scriptures,
a
man.
book. Master
Shout out to
Chef
Rodney
gave me a
Pelt. Just saw
book.
Rodney Pelt just
Oh, one love,
just
one
saw Rodney
love.
Pelt on the Instagram thing. This is Rodney Pelt. Shout out, bro.
Ashe, are we there too?
Go ahead, press mother man. Yeah, we
Okay,
on
so there's a
Instagram as
book
well.
that you gave me. Master Chef gave me this book. It is called The New Syllabus of Electromagnetism. Thoughts, my law of electromagnetism. I don't know if you can see that. But okay, so it says the electricity 101 is this chapter. And it says electromagnetism is the unified force responsible for generation, radiation, and discharge of all bodies in nature.
Mm,
Hence, it is the new force of creation. It
mm,
says God itself is nature or netter, which is a part of a chef's name, netter el. So it says electricity is all around us. It's in our houses, it's in our nervous system, it's in the rays of the sunlight. Pretty much everything that exists down to the atom has electricity. This is because electricity and magnetism are the very forces holding matter together. Says the
Right.
sun keeps the world in orbit with magnetism and discharges electricity in the form of life force or light. Even as the atom's nucleus keeps the electrical etheric body, the electron cloud that's around it, in orbit while discharging mass and energy. So it says the atom is an electromagnetic body. Hence, all bodies are fundamentally electromagnetic and conform to the natural laws of electrical generation and magnetic fields. Ashe?
I say.
Got you.
So wow.
Yeah.
That
So when we say what is electricity, and then why do we have both, or why are they separate? They balance each other out, it sounds like, and they create that force of energy that we generate that, motivates, moves, and activates things, matter.
Yeah, just
it's the
looking at us
force.
as a human, as a person. We need to be looked at. One way to look at us as how does it manifest is, moving our hands, moving our arms. We're active. We're electricity. We're energy. We're energy. But yet, what's stopping this energy from just dissipating to being everywhere? Is the magnetism that keeps this energy together, so that it's electric, but it's stuck together in such a way that it is not going too far separate. Electromagnetic.
Okay.
The two
Yeah,
become
there's a
one.
lot of interesting stuff in this book, and I don't want to, bog us down with reading, but I'd like to begin reading passages of it because, not today, but I'm just saying on each show that I participate in, I'd like to be able to bring this book to light. I mean, it is so deep and heavy, you can't do much of it at a time, but that was just in the intro,
I got something from
you
Puff to
know.
read.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You do? Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is what I'm reading from, and I'm trying to be. It's so hard to balance what the camera's doing and sees at the same time. But anyway,
Those
yeah.
Ma'at
So
law of electromagnetism.
Oh
yes.
yeah, that's yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we could definitely go into that because it talks all about the same thing, right? So now this back to Star Wars, right? The Force, right? The
Be
Jedi,
with you.
Jed,
Yes.
the Jedi. That's like the push and the pull.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jed. That's like right, exactly, same thing. That's what
The,
they're
the
talking
That's
about.
the
spine and the back.
That's the
Exactly, Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Because you are the
Obi-Wan.
Ankh.
There you go.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
So it's so many
When we hold
different
our arms
things.
up.
And then when you can just light yourself up. So real quick, this paragraph it says, "List ye, O man, hear my voice, teaching of wisdom and light in this cycle, teaching ye how to banish the darkness, teaching ye how to bring light in thy life. Seek ye, O man,
Mm,
to find the great pathway that leads to eternal life as a sun. Draw ye away from the veil of the darkness. Seek to become a light in the world. Make of thyself a vessel for light, a focus for the sun of this space." So that goes back into what she was talking about the spaces in space, the atoms and the push pull in the force, and then that bubble that goes around it. That's also light that comes in, and then there's different forces. There's all kinds of cycles. There's the darkness. It's the eternal struggle between darkness and light. The different lights, all the light.
the electro. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you good. The electromagnetism.
Right.
You know?
Light would be electric, darkness would be magnetic.
Yeah. Or the other, either way.
Yeah, I just said that perspective because light tends to light, it shines, it emits, it sends forth, it's doing something, whereas darkness ain't doing shit. It ain't
Oh,
doing
yo,
nothing.
okay,
It just
here it is. Here it is right here. It says, "Even as exist among men the dark brothers, so there exist the brothers of light. Antagonists they of the brothers of darkness, seeking to free men from the night. Powers have they, mighty and potent, knowing the law, the planets obey. Work they ever in harmony and order, freeing the man's soul from its bondage of night. Secret and hidden walk they also, known not are they to the children of men. Yet know that ever they walk with thee, showing the way to the children of men." So it's always with you. That's the same thing the Bible says, where it's like, be still, know that I'm God, I'm always with thee. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. All of these things, different cycles, different chakras, different, units of consciousness, different electromagnetic fields, different bubbles, different whatever, all of that shit. You see what I'm saying? It's all
You
of that.
said different
The light,
different
the electric.
fields.
Yeah, electromagnetic fields, your aura fields, your auric field, electric field, your torsion field, your Jedi, your spine, your spinal cords, the music, the notes. You see the music. You play the chords. That's the notes. That's the music. Boom. You are the music. Bam. Ha. Punchline. Oh shit! Right in the head. You see
oh
the stars.
wow.
You see all
Oh
kinds of stuff.
wow.
Playing with them strings, talking to the things. You feel me? These your nerve
An
endings.
epiphany just came up.
Huh? Yeah, yeah. The dots get
You talking
connected.
about them chords, talking about them.
C D E F G, baby. You know what I'm saying? Get your chakras in order. Get your shit together. That's that G note, baby. That DOS. It's that light. It's like, oh, when the mind and the
And
heart
so
come together and you start speaking shit. That's what's whoo. That's that flow. Well, you
and
running
so
your
when three
mouth.
of those energy centers, so when three of those energy centers come together, that's a chord. So
Mm-hmm.
depending upon, and they come together quite a bit, sometimes four, sometimes five. So depending upon, um, how they come together, the experience won't we our experiences will either be harmonious because it's a harmonious chord, or it'd be a dysfunctional chord. I hear music like, oh, that chord, somebody played the wrong note or something. It's
Yeah.
like, ugh. Our experiences are the same way, depending upon the alignment of the energy centers, those notes. That shit could be this is pleasant one. That's a wrong note. This is that chord. That chord. So the energy center. So you got to look at your with notes. The pitch, the pitch of each note of each energy center. Because if one of them is out of tune a little bit, but a little flat, one of them, when they go to interact together, it's gonna throw the chord off. It's gonna be a dissonance as opposed to a resonance. Just another way of saying, let's look at self musically, because there is all rhythm and vibration.
That's what it is. That's what it
That's what it
is.
is.
That's what it is. Breaking it down. Breaking
Which
it
comes
down.
back to the bowl master and the importance of the bowl master. And one of the importance of the bowl master is to help keep these energy centers vibrating at a certain frequency.
Keep
Because if
you
one of them
aware.
is a little flat, one of them a little short, right, it will manifest as a ripple effect in your experiences of your life. This is heavy, yeah.
Okay, I want to read about attraction and repulsion. This is subsection 10. Uh, yeah, it says, when it is said that like poles repel, unlike poles attract, it means that all mass energy, or KM in transition, seeks to enter the North Gate. And I don't know what SBA stands for, of SBA. It says the
Small Business
magnetic pole.
Administration? No, just
It could be
programming.
likened to
That's
our
something there.
system. So it says the magnetic polarity of Km, and I'm certain that that's an electronic symbol. Mass is negative, so it's automatically attracted to the positive polarity. When it passes into and out of the vessel, it is again seeking toward and through the entire circuit to balance the field. It says the magnetic field force is expressed by material and creates a field around the substance which conducts the mass, which is like into its form. And so those are the two forces that are seeking its shape. So from the south pole, the magnet goes to the north pole of the magnet. So it says from the south pole of the magnet to the north pole of the magnet. Okay, I've confused myself, but I thought it was going to give some clarity.
Yeah, now
So
let's
it
talk
says
about you,
Mhm.
here,
Bob. Let's talk about
it
you.
says
So your North
a
Pole and your
magnet is
South
given
Pole.
zero, a magnet is given zero resistance and will always align itself to the north pole of the earth because its material, which is made of the earth, is Km. While the conducting of the earth's ambient current, Re, towards it moves towards the nucleus, which is the gateway, which is located in the North Pole. Okay, so the gateway is in the North Pole, which is like your upper room, which is also your third eye or your crown chakra. So, Ashe, Tony, can you help me explain some of that?
Pass, you got the ball. Alley
Yeah,
oop.
you're right. So that's the poles, right? So the negative and the positive poles. So your north apparently is up, it's the positive pole, south down is the negative pole, right? Then your omni, right? So if you're balancing the poles, it's it's deep. It goes into a lot of it with like how the blood circulates and so forth. So one of the things it says 1 hour a day you lay with your head face to the point of the positive pole, which is north. So up, and then 1 hour a day you lay with your face to the negative pole, which would be on your stomach, south. So when you do that, you balance out. That's how it talks about how that pushes off the fingers of death, and it balances you out because your poles are elevated. So
That sounds like a yoga pose.
yeah,
They
it could
have
be.
you to face those directions when you pose.
So I'm
Something
still
to be
looking
able to
into
do
it
that.
because it's a lot to because then you look up poles and what poles are and how that works with your blood and how that connects with your body and what it's actually talking about. your equilibrium, because it's talking about your equilibrium, which is in your brain. So, or it's in, all of the different things that affects. So it's a lot to go into.
Yeah, we got to wrap our minds around it. So these books are deep, like thick, deep.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of words, but the words they use when they use them, it's like you gotta understand each word as you go in order for you to actually get the fullness of
Yeah.
the expression of the words. Yeah.
But that's why we
So it's
talk. That's why we talk it out in
Yeah.
meditation. In these times right here, just talk it out. It's like it's not. These are simple words. It's simple English that we're using. You see what I'm saying? But it's like the understanding of it is awakening in certain aspects of ourselves. That's like, oh wait, electricity. That's what you are. That's how. Like, wait a minute. All right. So if you are that, then wait a minute. Then nothing can fuck with you because there's electricity. You see what I'm saying? Even if water
What
hits electricity, it turns different and starts to shoot through and it'll fuck anything up that's in that vicinity. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, well, what's happening? What are we talking about? Like, what's the
interesting.
you
Yeah.
see you see what I'm saying? It's a whole thing with it. Like when you understand the power that we're talking about, the wisdom and the knowledge put together equals power, right? Because you have ultimate knowing, you know it, and then you have the wisdom of how to handle whatever situation is there. That's where the power comes from. So when you put all of these things together, 2 plus 2 equals 4. Wisdom and knowledge equals power. Wisdom plus 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 knowledge equals power. You see, oh yeah, I know about that. But you've been in war, so now you got the wisdom. No, now you got the power. Like now you can talk some shit. You, you know what I'm saying? And not even talking shit, you're just commanding the moves the way that it's supposed to happen. Or for you. You see what I'm saying? That's where the power is, the
Right.
wisdom and the knowledge. We're like, all right, bet. Whatever it is your purpose is or how it is that you wrote. Wisdom and knowledge. Get you power.
Yep. That
so the
electricity is
K
something else.
symbol in electricity. The K symbol, it is. I love learning. The K symbol in electricity means the relay or contactor. And the M symbol is the motor. So the relay or contactor motor. So the K and M together is the equation that they use for the force of what is utilizing the electrical force that we're utilizing in the body. And apparently it's we resonate at what the Earth's KM is what I recall reading, what we
What is
read.
that? Does it say what it is?
The K
Or
and
how it
what
is?
the force is? Okay, it was in the
Yeah.
book that I read. So I closed the
Yeah.
book. I can open the page back and see what it said.
My person came across
Now
some
that I have
information
some
of
semblance of what that is.
recall
Mm-hmm.
don't know the accuracy of, but the scenario of the heart chakra resonates with the earth.
Right.
There have been some theories of it's 432 or 528, or there's that frequency of our heart resonates with the frequency of the earth. That's some information that's out there.
Right. So what I was at, well, from what she was talking about, because she was with the KM, right? So that way we
Uh,
could tie in what the KM means to the hertz. You see what I'm saying? Like how does that connect?
Okay,
You
the
see what
book
see what I'm saying?
gives us the book that I was reading does have a definition. I'm on the page now where it's defining it.
Okay.
So it's saying that the M stands for magnetism, generation, motion, force in opposition of mass simulation or a preposition because it is likening the our parts of speech, to electricity as well. It's saying that there are three parts of speech and the language relates to electricity. So the
Yes.
K is defined as to raise up, to gather, to receive, to transmit, or to otherwise do with the hands. So in here it's saying the km is the force of doing with the magnetism generated. So I'll look and see what that actual equation was, but it just is saying that there was that we resonate at the Earth's magnetism, km magnetism frequency. So I'll go back to that as well. But yeah, we're the science of self. Wow, man. It is extremely deep. It is a rabbit hole you can just jump down and get buried in, especially when you're looking at the words of Thoth, because he breaks it down. He was the creator of so much of the language itself, as well as,
Precious,
the
precious mama love.
mathematics, which,
Would
relates a lot to music and all of that. One
press?
love.
Would you mind? Would you mind looking up
One
what a
love.
would you mind looking up what a decibel is?
Okay. In this book, or
If it's in that book, great. That would be perfect if it has that definition.
definition of a decibel. 1 decibel. It says decibel is a unit for expressing the ratio between two physical quantities, usually amounts of acoustic or electrical power, or for measuring the relative loudness of sounds. 1 decibel, which is written out as zero point 0.1 BEL, equals 10 times the common logar, log, 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 logarithm of the power ratio. Logarithm, logarithm,
Logarithm,
log,
yeah,
Algorithm,
logarithmic.
algorithm,
yeah, something like that.
algorithm,
Hmm.
Logarithm
logarithm.
of the power ratio.
I'm gonna look
Yeah,
that up.
yeah.
See, that's another word to look
There
up
we
now.
go.
Go ahead. But go ahead. No, all right, that's beautiful. All right, so a decibel. So it's saying, can you read that again? That was so tight. I got lost in that. That was so beautiful. It's 10 times.
A decibel. It's the unit of expressing the ratio between two physical quantities, usually the amounts of acoustic or electrical power, or for measuring the relative loudness of sounds. 1 decibel equals 10 times the common logarithm of the power ratio. 1 decibel is 10 the power ratio.
Mm, okay, because these
I could look
bowls
up
resonate.
logarithm as well too, but
Please. Oh, that would be great. Please, because this is putting pieces together to
okay.
how it is. So when we're talking about we're playing sound bowls, because the sound bowls, I think these when you hit it, it's every vibration. I think is at like 70 decibels, which causes, and I think decibels translates into hertz. So at a certain amount of decibels, you get a certain amount of hertz or something like that, and then the hertz, and then that raises the vibration. So that charges, and then you said it's the relativity or the magnetism between two physical objects. So it seems like it's in the core of what's holding shit together.
Hmm.
You see what I mean? Like the magnetism
Yeah, a
between
logarithm is an equation.
an equation. Okay. So like for instance, brickwork is popping up. Like the when you put the cement in there and then you put the brick on top of that, you put another brick and then how they fuse together and create this strong structure. But then that could also be broken down. I mean, even the pyramids. Look at the pyramids. It's like how they were put together to create this magnificent structure. Again, magnificent.
Uh-huh.
You see what I mean? It's electromagnificent. It's everything. It's what it, it's so much. It's vast. You see, so it's like, man, like, all right, putting all that together, like, what's the mm, this and the that of it?
So the logarithm is like a mathematical equation or expression.
Hmm.
And it is an expression that's in terms of an algebraic equation.
Okay.
So it says that the uses of a logarithm is considered arithmetic. It says since it is manipulating numbers, it says, and the laws of logarithms would be considered algebra,
So find
which is
X.
like, what's that they use when they algorithms? What is algorithms? Oh,
An
because that sounds
algorithm,
it's in the same.
yeah, algorithm is like a series of steps to get you to a certain point. So, for instance, if I got 7 steps that are going to get me to this point of success, then that's my algorithm. You see what I'm saying? That's my, I'm putting together things. So, for instance, if you want to just something simple, go to the store. All right, I'm going to get up, I'm going to get dressed, I'm going to, get my keys, go to the car, do this, boom, boom, boom. That's your algorithm to achieve your goal, so to speak. And you can create those with anything. You see, so the focus.
Okay, so yes, you what you just said as far as the expression of the definition here says an algorithm. Well, let's say this. I looked up algorithm versus logarithm. An algorithm is a formula, a series of steps that will solve a mathematical problem. You said that.
Mhm.
A logarithm is a number that expresses the exponent of a base to arrive at that some given. So the two of
So,
them are both mathematical equations and they relate to, yeah, solving problems
so
or,
like the log. It's the log.
yes, they
It's
are
the log.
mathematical equations,
Of
So
the
you know the log.
rhythm.
You know,
I
a
just keep
rhythm
hearing rhythm in
of
there.
rhythm.
The rhythm,
right.
the rhythm, the flow, the
So
rhythm, the law of
basically,
rhythm.
what it seems like is the music. You played the music and then you wrote the music down. You see what I'm saying? So C, D, E, here's this note, the notes. Now we're looking at notes. Read, you see what I'm saying? Reading the music as opposed to just playing the song. Like I know the song in my head, but now I put it on in note form, like a logarithm, so to speak. If we're talking about algebra, and then of course all that goes back to finding X.
Or if we're talking about creating a song that's designed to create a desired output. So you get that rhythm going, these songs, the chords, the vocals, everything, whatever you put into this, we're gonna put these things together to get this these rhythms to get this results. The
Right.
logarithm and the algorithm.
Yeah.
The logarithm and yeah.
Yeah,
But then
one,
you then it bring it back to
and
our
this,
experiences also. Put our inner chakras together, our inner these chords together, so that our experience, we can see the logarithm in the experiences. Because we can say, oh, this is produced, this is our results based upon the rhythm that we have on the inside. What's the
You remember
formula?
the you remember the chiasm?
Mm, not yet, but we will soon. Keep talking.
The, the chiasm is the cross, is the X that's in your eyes that goes to the brain, to your pineal gland and hippocampus and hypothalamus and all that stuff that's in there. Cerebral serums, all that. So it's the X, the cross. So this eye crosses to this eye crosses to this side, and then in the middle it comes to it all connects to like optic nerves and all of that stuff that's in here.
So
So
what if you
that the
cross-eyed?
right, that's what I was wondering too, because then doesn't that come together a certain type of way? Like when you're sitting
Does
there,
that
you just be sitting there and it's like and you focus on your nose.
right?
And then you put those two, you see what I'm saying? You can make two out of whatever, and then it puts you in something else. Or, what if you blink it? What if that's the way to blink a different type of way? You see what I'm saying?
Mm,
That reptilian eyelid that's in there that don't cross your eyes, don't cross your eyes. And you cross your eyes, and then all of a sudden another lens or something pops out that you ain't know about because you keep doing it. You see, I'm just saying. I don't know personally. I'm just throwing shit out there.
that's right. That's right.
But I'm
All
just
things are
saying.
possible.
cross your eyes and dot the T.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
cross out. That reminds me of sometimes when I'm looking at the sun, when I'm sun gazing, sometimes I have a hard time getting the sun to get back into one, because when I start looking at it and I soften my gaze, it's as though the point of light separates, because I've separated what, my right eye and my left eye, they're seeing, but they haven't unified the vision. And so I sometimes have a hard time, I've noticed on occasions, to try to get back into that line of focus. I've had to close my eyes for a bit, and I've heard that, and reopen it so that I can reset the aperture, the eye, the pupil.
Mm,
So, but I heard that if the less you blink, the deeper you're able to tune in. Like the blink is like starting back at ground zero, and having another choice to to
you going back to the
choose what to
black?
see.
So you're going back
Going
to the
back to
black?
resetting. Hmm.
Yeah. All right. I mean, unless you see
Mm.
light when you close your eyes. All right, what do you see? Everybody, I'm like, yo, that's going to the darkness. Oh, I don't do the darkness. What the fuck? God, close your eyes. Every time you go to sleep, you in darkness. That's dark. Everybody got to play with shit.
Even if you sleep with the light on,
Right? If you sleep with
even
the
if you sleep
light
with the
on,
light on, you still.
yeah, it'll be red. It'll be
That's
red for a little while until it goes dark.
right. That's something there,
Now
man. That's something.
I have closed my eyes and been able to see in an infrared way before. I have had infrared sight where I could see based on the lights of things, like the lid is a sheath of sensory. It
Yeah.
re
All that staring
you
at the
know
sun you do, I
the
hope you see some
decision
infrared.
to see it's like I see in a whole new way. I sense a sensory sight versus the actual visual sight.
Mm-hmm. You see the colors.
Yeah. So the theory of that is close these eyes and allow the first eye to open so it fully
Mm.
receives the vibration, and then it interprets the vibration to an image that you can see. Not with these eyes, but you see it with the ones that convert the image.
Yeah.
Another skill set, another level of
So
interpreting.
Mm. Yes.
To allow the image to come from the vibration based upon the pineal, the first eye.
You ever stare at a candle
Yeah.
yes.
and then close your eyes and see all the colors that the inside of your head changes? Try it. It's always there. Sometimes light it up. And you see it. It's everywhere you look. Literally.
Yeah. And there's this concept a person has shared. No, just because another concept came up. We don't speak about it often, but when some of us, when you close your eyes, you're able to see these little dots, colorful dots
Pixels,
everywhere,
pixels.
pixels. So my person is able to see those pixels with eyes wide open. Again, the physical vision is not what they call 20/20, but yet my person is able to see these pixels. And so it has entertained over the years, applied a philosophy that resonates, that with these pixels, by being engaged with our vibration, the peace of God that passes all understanding, relax enough and allow these pixels, these pixels, to create an image. I've done this before, can actually see a pixely image. So the theory is, to the degree that my person is able to hold that pixely image, hold it, and just keep holding, trying to giving an energy to it. At some point, the pixely image will become clear enough so the image is there without any pixels, and then keep on holding it. It shall become heavy enough to be seen in this dimension by others on the outside, not just in my person's eye who see it, but others will be able to see it because so much energy has been fed into it. It is now dense enough to be brought to this dimension. So that's a theory
visual.
my person has, entertained, and now that it understands about distractions, is now back into this theory to activate it, to prove it, which takes time and focus and discipline. So
I liken those pixels to. I've had experiences of pixels when I uh, have had magic tea. I also have had those pixels, when I hyperventilate or in that gateway, you know,
yeah,
and as you're entering into and as you're coming out
yeah,
of. Yeah. And I've also noticed that there's a roar, a noise. It's like the uh, white noise kind of comes into play, and you just hear a loud whoosh noise, like coming in and going out. You hear that, so the sound as well
oh,
as the sight becomes pixely in my mind. But
uh-huh,
yeah, so
Pixely.
those I think are connected.
Yes.
yeah,
So
I see some pixels right now.
yeah,
I'm looking at pixels right now. See, there goes some
yeah, when you
pixels.
aerate,
Oh, it's pixels talking to me. Look at that. What was it? It's a pixels in yellow and with a red head scarf and brown. What was it? Pixels. There you go. I see pixels.
that
Look, look at these pixels.
I think that's what happens when we hear that computer voice when it comes through when we're having signal troubles and the signal comes through. What a beautiful sight! OMG! What the pixels
These some
are?
nah,
pixels.
Yes, what the
Some
pixels?
pixels. There they are,
what the
right there.
pixel?
Yes,
All the pixels.
beautiful, beautiful.
Some of them
Ashe,
clumped
ashe.
together and made some boat pixels. You got a bridge pixel, bus pixel, water pixels, all kinds of pixels.
Ashe,
Sky
ashe.
pixels.
I hear the birdie.
Oh, bird
I
pixels.
hear the birdies chirping.
Oh, got some duck pixels over here. Yeah.
So it's almost it's 101 at the tone the time will be. I must
It
I
is.
must gather myself and move to the next item on the list of the day. So I want to say two things. Thank you for joining us on the Heart Happy Hour and Soulful Sunday session live. I also want to invite everyone on March the 23rd to our full moon event that's in Capitol Heights. I posted it on my page. If you would, you can go to Love+Art equals wellness using the plus sign and the equal sign, and you'll see the flyer. That's the full moon in Libra. We are in Aries. This is like the astrological start of the new year. Aries is setting us up for what's going to happen for the rest of the year. It takes on the goals, and actually intensifies balancing things out with the Libra influence. Those things that are your priorities, those things that are at the top of your list, they're coming into call. Being called to the carpet at the moment. They're being pushed to the top of your list so that you can start to purge those things, detox those things, get rid of those things, whatever, slough off whatever you've been. If you were in hibernation, you're going to have to, start to move your muscles and start to exercise your brain and strengthen yourself for what's about to happen as things heat up and as the sun begins to express itself in a more lively, light bearing way. So come join us. We're going to tap into our Akashic Intelligence. Our featured presenter is none other than the um, world renowned Sekou Mama Ayo Handi Kendi, the creator of the Black Love movement, as well as the African American Holiday Association that helped to bring in Black Love Day as a Black holiday for us in the calendar. So we're tapping into those cosmological and astrological vortexes for our own wellness and science of self. So we're going to have 5 wellness sessions. We'll have drumming. We'll have Services available on site. Master Tony will be there giving tune-ups. Bo Master Tony will be giving us tune-ups with the sound bowls. He's going to help us to create the vibronics that's necessary for the healing tone and value that we'll be equating out to that day, 3/23/24. Ashe, 4:30 to 8:30. Look it up on Eventbrite, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. Changing lives and changing minds using our own AI. I'll be doing some segments on the radio. Tomorrow I'll be on WPFW from 3:10 to 3:20 talking about it if you catch that window. There'll be a few other shows that I'll be on sharing that information, but it's a fundraiser for a youth mentor group called Together Brothers and Sisters, and they are Together Brothers and Sisters are providing computers, doing mentoring to young men, to the youth, as well as teaching them the rules to life through the game of chess. They're teaching them chess and having tournaments. So it's a lot of good things going on. Thank you for allowing me to share. And thank you for those of you who would join us and come out and tap in. Ashe. 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 Oh.
Say, yeah,
We
the
got wet.
sound kind of chopped up at the
Yeah,
end. But,
zoned out for a second. I was
all
like,
right.
whoa, hold up.
And when she's back, okay. And give thanks for that. All my person got today
Sounds like
is
the
we're looking
mute
forward to
went.
being in
Okay,
person again
sorry.
on the 31st.
Uh,
Yes, in
I was
person.
saying, all my person got is the 31st, Resurrection Sunday. We shall be resurrected once again.
Yes,
Powerful
yes,
portal, so we use that portal in
yes.
person.
Resurrection power. We're tapping in from the 23rd to the 31st is a powerful window. Tap in with us at one of those events. Ashe, we're there every
Ashe.
Sunday now. Soulful Sunday.
where is this
All right.
event?
Heart
Indeed.
happy hour. Bowmaster Tony.
Tony said, where is it?
Yeah, where
Tony
is
said,
this
where's
event?
the
Oh,
event?
this is it's the address is 1311 Opus Avenue. That's in Capitol Heights, Maryland, 4:30 to 8:30. And like I said, 5 wellness sessions. Bowmaster Tony will be there tuning us up. We have full body massage, Reiki, Qigong, seated um, seated yoga. Woo! We have some folks there that'll be helpful in tuning up your vibration and tapping into the vibronics, the sound, the sacred, all the science of self. We're taking it to the water, and hopefully we'll help you drink.
But you can't make them drink, though. You can lead them there.
I'm gonna lead them to the water. You can
There's a
you
little
can take
pun.
a drink when you're
There's a
ready.
pun on the situation.
Ashe,
Yeah.
ashe.
I tell you, oh, well, all right. Another soulful Sunday discussion in the books. History and her story has been made. History and her story has been made in Soulful Sunday.
One love and wellness.
Indeed. Till the next time, enjoy your creations and the best of thoughts to everybody.
On purpose.
Oh yeah, y'all be good.
You be
Peace.
better and wholeness.
Oh well, jeez.
One love.
Yeah.